Why was you awake?
All right. So, in just a little bit, you will need to be able to access Google Classroom using your phone or some other device. On Google Classroom, you will find all of the informational sheets that you created last week. So each informational sheet was given its own file. So for example, this is your brain on video games, and then everyone who created an informational sheet has their business on that. Those are going to be helpful for you as you kind of like go forward this week when it comes time to start drafting and writing stuff. We are deviating, for those of you who are in CIS, you are going to stray a little bit from writing your CIS paper in this class, primarily because in CIS right now, you are largely just following an outline. Mr. Potter has given you an outline for one of two arguments that you could make about Genovese or Stamp. And then it's for you, it's really just a matter of plugging information into that outline. For each paragraph, you should be able to plug in a topic sentence that's consistent with what the argument is that he wants you to follow. And then it's a matter of finding evidence and framing that evidence in a way that supports the topic sentence and follows that outline along. So it's almost like a really, really hard Mad Lib. What I want you to do here, in addition to that CIS stuff, is you need to demonstrate that you have more control and ability to control the way in which you create an argument. Because like I said, Potter has said you are either going to say Genovese is more correct than Stamp, or Stamp is more correct than Genovese. If you're saying Genovese is more correct than Stamp, then here's the way in which you break it down. If you're saying Stamp is more correct than Genovese, then here's the way in which you break it down, which is fine because a lot of that information is hard to wrap your head around. But you don't have to do sort of the intellectual legwork that goes into crafting and developing an artfully and carefully constructed claim. So that's what we're going to do here. Now, CIS people, once we get rolling, you will be able to work on that CIS jam in here, just like the last one. There just won't be as much of a one-to-one ratio. There are going to be some things you need to do that are exclusive for this jam, and we'll get into that when it pops up. So first thing you need to learn how to do before we kind of get fired up with class today is come up with a thesis statement that can support a bunch of topic sentences. So if I said, this is going to be a bad example, but let everyone just play along for a moment. Jet.
Call me.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Barry. How come my thing won't write?
Yeah. What's the date? 17th?
Oh,
You plug it in.
the other side. Oh,
Yeah.
That's what Rhett would do.
That's yeah. And then he would fall asleep and poop his pants.
Oh my God.
He's afraid of pooping right now, and as he's awake. All right. So let's pretend, and this is going to be a bad example of a thesis, but let's pretend that my thesis is something to the effect of Jet is cool because he what? That doesn't make someone cool. Jet is cool because he used to have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, he used to have a YouTube
No.
channel.
Jet, a YouTube channel.
So much.
All right, what's one other reason Jet is cool? He's in school, he's got a YouTube channel, he's good at volleyball. And volleyball. All right. So now this is not a great thesis, right? Because it's a list, because it's not very complex. But let's pretend like it is a thesis. If it was a thesis, what would my first topic sentence be about?
Jen is cool.
He's cool
Because he's in school.
He's cool because he's in school. That's topic sentence number one. What's topic sentence number 2?
Cool because he has a YouTube.
Cool, because it's got a YouTube channel. And what's topic sentence number 3?
Cool
Cool.
and
He plays
volleyball.
volleyball.
Cool, because plays volleyball. Okay, so 3 topic sentence. Now, class, what if geez,
Yep.
Louise, Lindenberg, not a math guy. Let's pretend like I said, hey, class, I want you to come up with 5 topic sentences for this thesis statement. Can't change a single thing about the thesis statement. How would you go about getting to 5 topic sentences?
School is such a vague topic that
Uh-huh.
you could talk about how he's a good student in school, and then or like how he has a lot of friends in school. Like you can just add on to like with school. You can just go into little bursts.
All right, so I could have, so this is not so much topic sentence 1 as much as it is section 1. So he's cool in school because he's a good student. That makes him cool. He also has a bunch of friends. That makes him cool. All right, so now we're up to 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try to jack this bad boy up to 8 topic sentences.
Oh, he manages volleyball and plays volleyball
And how does managing make him cool, right, Becky?
because he does.
He helps the team.
He's dedicated.
And how does being dedicated make him cool?
Thanks, Ben. I don't know. Actually,
It shows that he's passionate about a sport.
He's passionate, being passionate about stuff is cool, right? Playing,
Ben's not up to
spiking,
supporting me,
float
you know?
serves, that's cool. What else we got? Eve?
He's famous on YouTube.
So he's famous.
That'd be so cool.
All right, so we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still got 3 topic sentences we need to get to. Oh, and why is making money cool, Coleman?
Because you're gonna get you get a lot more cool. You get cool clothes.
Money, clothes, watches,
I have a watch.
pajama pants.
Computers.
Yeah, computers. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah. Life would be
We've got
so
2 more topic sentences or 2 more paragraphs we need to get in here.
sick.
Hey. 2 more.
First goal, you can also talk about how he's in CIS.
And see, oh yeah, CIS is so cool because he gets so smart. Get that college education.
Andy's in student council.
Oh, Andy's in student council. And why is student council cool?
Because they get to
Nah,
plan
leadership.
and
Yeah,
participate.
plan, leadership, and all that stuff is cool.
Logan, you're a
Now-
little salty right now.
So we now have this thesis statement as inspiring or creating 8 topic sentences.
I
Now,
know. I feel
what if
exposed.
I had the thesis statement? Again, this would be a bad thesis statement, but play along because we're trying to learn a concept. If I had a thesis statement as Jet is cool, how many topic sentences could I get out of the thesis statement Jet is cool?
a bunch?
Unlimited.
Could I get all of these?
Yeah.
Yeah, and plus whatever else I wanted to talk about. So when you're writing your thesis statements, we're going to try to move beyond just thinking it as thesis statement as having a one-to-one relationship with subsequent topic sentences. Thesis statements inspire sections, and then each section can have as many topic sentences as it needs to have to be specific and make a ton of sense. So if I'm going to ask you for tomorrow to come up with a thesis statement that can sustain 5 topic sentences. Do you need to have 5 individual parts to your thesis?
No.
I mean, could you start with like an intro phrase and then get into a list and then get into a coordinating conjunction and another thing? Yeah, but you don't need to. You just need to find a way to create topic sentences that reflect the different parts of your thesis. So this is an important thing. Understanding that your thesis statement inspires sections of your paper, not necessarily explicit topic sentences. Now, flip your book open to page 166.
Can I
need
go
to
grab
share a
one?
book, share a book.
Oh, sounds good. We're sharing.
Okay, can we type these up, thesis statements into topic sentences?
Oh,
So just open up a document. You guys want tomorrow? I have a red.
all right.
Red sweatpants.
I don't have like red briefcase.
Let's take
I'm saving those pants.
let's take a gander at your paper prompts. Okay, just listen up. I'm going to help kind of guide you through some of the intricacies of this bad boy. Culminating conversation The dumbest generation? It's important to read the question mark because are we saying there is a dumbest generation?
No.
Not necessarily. For those of you that couldn't see, when I said the dumbest generation, I pointed at Gayasi. Fun fact though, Ty is part of Logan's generation, so it's also kind of a self-burn. But we'll see. All right. Students today live and learn in a world with vastly more complex technology than that of previous generations. Many people see this new technology as a way to expand and distribute knowledge. They call it the information age. Others lament the constant distractions that accompany this onslaught of information. But of course, there is a long tradition of critics bemoaning the harmful effects of technological change on younger generations. For example, back in the whatevers, when the newspapers are becoming more widely distributed and popular, there was an article in a Fancy Pants magazine. It had a picture of a bunch of people sitting on a train reading a newspaper. And the caption for that picture was, I'm going to butcher it, but it was something to the effect of, look at all these dummies reading instead of talking to each other. Are newspapers ruining America? Okay. So this argument about technology is making a generation dumb is not exclusive to you. It happened in the 80s, it happened in the 70s, it happened in the 60s, 50s, 40s, all the way back until the 18 whatevers. In his best-selling book, The Dumbest Generation, social critic and professor Mark Bauerlein claims that, as his book's title suggests, those under 30 constitute the dumbest generation in modern history. In his explanation of why he wrote the book, Bauerlein says, I've noticed that in the last 10 years that students are no less intelligent, no less ambitious, but there are two big differences. Colon. Oh, such a good use of the colon. Because that colon happens, what do we know is going to come after it? The two differences.
Yeah.
Reading habits have slipped along with the general knowledge. You can quote me on this. You guys don't know anything. Carefully read the following 8 sources, including the introductory information from each source. Then synthesize information from at least 3 of the sources and incorporate them into a coherent, well-developed essay that evaluates the claim that those under the age of 30 are the dumbest generation. So is it your job to say that those under 30 are or are not the dumbest generation?
No.
What is your job then? What does it mean to evaluate the claim?
Like,
Come up with your own.
let's see, like,
To evaluate this, and this is important academic knowledge, does not mean that you come up with your own. You don't say people under 30 are in fact dummies, or you don't say people under 30 are not dummies. You need to evaluate his claim. To evaluate means to notice strengths and weaknesses. Does his claim fall apart? And it's important that you acknowledge that there are strengths and weaknesses when evaluating something. Rarely is something exclusively good, with the exception of like Lucky Charms, or bad, with the exception of Brussels sprouts. Most things in life have tinges of both. And when you are instructed to evaluate something, it is incumbent upon you to play around with both the yays and the nays. Does that make sense, class?
yeah.
Okay, so for tomorrow, if you check Google Classroom, you need to create a thesis statement and topic sentence outline for a paper that evaluates this claim. You should use the informational sheets that your classmates created, in addition to looking at this bad boy. Unfortunately, your classmates did not give you an informational sheet for living and learning with new media. Your classmates did also not give you an information sheet for the dumbest generation. So just in your book, circle source number 1 and source number 3. It says that you need to use how many sources in your evaluation? One of those 3 sources needs to be either source number 1 or source number 3.
One of the How many?
You need to use at least 3 sources as you come up with your thesis statement and topic sentences. One of your sources needs to be either source number 1 or source number 3. For tomorrow, I would expect that you have your thesis statement locked in and your topic sentences done. You gotta write 6 sentences by tomorrow. You have 20 minutes to start engaging with this text and get this Bad Bama Jamma started. Be ready to share and have me look at those tomorrow. Thesis statements, specific, strongly worded, so what? Topic sentences, more specific than the thesis, strongly worded, so what, and transition.
Wait, what? Never mind. It's a personal question.
Okay, I'll answer it in just a moment. Any questions? All right, start evaluating. Eve, what's your question?
What's the prompt?
The prompt is evaluate the last sentence in the second to last paragraph. That evaluates the claim that those under the age 30 are from this generation.
So we're just saying that comparing and contrasting the goods and the bads
Yeah,
of.
his claim that people under 30 are the dumbest
So
generation.
he thinks that they're dumb
Yep. And so you need to evaluate the strengths and weaknesses
of his argument.
of that argument. Yep.
I wasn't here on Friday. Do you want this?
Take a picture of it and post it in the comments section under today's post.
Oh, that's the same as Liv's thing. Like we're